Earlier this month, I had a great call with a client from the US who wants to buy both a home and an office here in Dubai. His business is in the architectural space, so he wanted to be near where all the architects and design studios congregate. I told him that that would be Dubai Design District. It's a master community right next to downtown Dubai by Maras. But the problem is, Miraz doesn't sell any of their commercial spaces, and that's a common theme with most major developers. It's all built to rent. So that conversation made me want to create a video just talking about the commercial landscape within the city as it currently stands. 2025 just ended, so we do have some good data that we can go through. If you look at all the transactions that happened across the city last year, over 200,000 of them were residential, but only just below 13,000 of them were commercial. So as a whole, commercial only accounted for just above 6% of the total. The next chart shows the total value of commercial properties over the last couple of years. You can see just how the demand has increased, especially in the last 5 years or so. The smaller orange bar represents the OKU transactions, which are basically just the transactions for properties that were under construction. You can see just how tiny it is. And that's because we have not really been focusing on building new commercial spaces over the last couple of years. So the value of a very limited number of commercial units has just consistently increased over the last couple of years. There are a lot of reasons for the increased demand for commercial spaces. Dubai has taken a lot of initiatives to position themselves as a business hub. One of these initiatives actually happened back in 2018. They introduced free zones. So before, how things used to work, if you wanted to own a company here in Dubai, you needed to have a local sponsor. This would be an Emirati national, and that person would actually own 51% of the company. But after 2018, with the introduction of free zones, foreign nationals could now own their company 100% on their own. We have a lot of these free zones across the city. We have more than 20 of them. So DIFC, DMCC in Jumeirah Lake Towers, you have Jafza and Jebel Ali, just to name a couple. Another major reason is the fact that Dubai is number one in terms of attracting greenfield investments in the world the last 4 years in a row. A greenfield investment, so there's brownfield investments and greenfield investments. With a brownfield investment, a company comes in and they partner with a local company, they use their infrastructure. But with a greenfield investment, the company comes in and they start from scratch. They build from the ground up. They build factories, they buy up offices and industrial spaces. They bring a lot of their people from abroad, and they also create a lot of jobs for the city. If we look at the Dubai Chamber's report, we can see that in 2025, Dubai attracted just over 70,000 new companies to the city. In terms of year over year, that's around a 13% increase once you account for the companies that did not renew their trade license. Now, looking at the 2025 market report, you can see that the overall value of prices increased by 8.3%. So that's the capital appreciation across the market. But if we break this down into apartments, villas, and commercial, you can see that the commercial actually increased in value by 20.3%. Something really interesting in the data, if we look at the transactions, you can see that in that AD, 10 million AD and above range, that's around 2.8 million USD, 2.5 million euros. We can see that the demand is there for high quality grade A offices. It's been increasing steadily since 2022. And if we look at the supply pipeline for the next 5 years or so, you can see that majority of it is coming in DIFC, but that entire thing is built to rent. You can't buy any offices there. You can only rent it out. And it's a financial center, so if you're not a financial company, it doesn't really make sense for you to be in that space. Now, diving into the rental side of things, how much can I reasonably expect to earn per year as a ROI if I were to own a commercial space? And how easy is it going to be to rent it out? This map just shows the averages across the city in terms of 80 per square foot to rent a commercial space. We can see that DIFC is on top in terms of averages. Next, you have downtown Dubai and then Dubai Design District. I mentioned that area at the start of the video. If we use Business Bay as an example, so let's say you owned 1,200 square feet in Business Bay. According to these averages, you should easily get between 300 and 320,000 AED. But of course, it can increase based on stuff like the view. So does it look out at the canal, Burj Khalifa, or whether or not it's a grade A building. So the Opus is a grade A building in Business Bay, and the average there is 513 AED per square foot. So if you own 1,200 square feet in the Opus, you should get it rented out for around 615,000 AED. So almost double the average. The other side of the question, how easy is it to rent out? We can see here, according to Knight Frank, in prime locations, the occupancy rate is around 95 to 99%. And thanks to very limited supply, rents in key areas like a Business Bay have increased by, on average, 46%. So really insane numbers. And a lot of the data that I mentioned comes from Knight Frank. If you're not familiar with Knight Frank, they are one of the largest independent real estate consultancy firms, about 130 years old. They operate in 60 different countries, more than 500 offices. So yeah, they do have a nice global credibility and a strong history of doing independent and unbiased work. Thank you guys so much for watching the video. I hope I was clearly able to explain why commercial real estate is one of the best, if not the best opportunity right now across the city. You know, today, right now, you can purchase a ready commercial space that's already rented. A tenant is in there, and you can earn around 10% gross yield per year. It's very difficult to find that in the residential part of the market. So yeah, if you'd like more information on how we can go about doing that, or if you just have any general questions or concern for me, feel free to reach out. My number is on screen. Yeah, I think that's everything. Peace.